This is my second video today, which is kind of rare because I never ever make videos. Never make videos, I'm sorry. Double negatives. But I decided to make this one because I'm totally bored and I thought it would be interesting to do what I did my last video where I answered, or video before last, where I answered questions that people on Tumblr sent me. So I am going to read off those questions and I'm going to answer them to the best of my ability. The first one that I got was, how did I get into the Strokes? Just so you know, most of these will probably be about the Strokes because I'm a dork. But okay, so like in 2004 or 5, I'm guessing, I first heard Last Night on the radio and I really didn't like it, like, at all. I was totally against it. Like, I was just like, I hate this song is terrible, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know why. You know, I never really sat down and listened to it because it's funny because I love that song now. But for a long time, I just didn't get into the Strokes and I didn't like their music, and like that was the only song that I knew, but I never listened to them because I had such a grudge against Last Night. And like one day I was reading Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance, which is a band that I used to really love. I read Frank Iero's tweets and he was talking about Julian, and I was like, oh, Julian Casablancas, okay. Which is, I found out this week that that's the way that you pronounce his name, and I was like, because I've always pronounced it Julian Casablancas, and somebody told me it was wrong. So it needed to be Casablancas, and so now it's Casablancas apparently. I don't know. But, anyways, but, so I was like, oh, Julian Casablancas, he has an interesting name. Maybe I should listen to his music. And I heard Out of the Blue, and I just totally loved it. I was like, this is such a great song. And I ended up, immediately downloading his album. I rebought it, so, I ended up not stealing money from him because I ended up buying the album anyway. But, I bought Phrases for the Young and I was totally in love with it. And I still didn't want to listen to the Strokes, so after Glass, which is my favorite my favorite song of Julian's, after I heard that song, I like really fell in love with him, and so I ended up listening to the Strokes. And probably the first song that I listened to that I fell in love with was You Only Live Once. So like the song that I fell in love with. Reptilia was the second song I heard probably, and then Juicebox. But it was because I was like looking at their videos at the time, so I wasn't really looking for anything. But then it took a while. It took a couple of months for me to get into them, but like last year I started getting into them and I feel like such a bad fan. But I never really knew them before, so I think it's like, at least it's important that I like them now. I'm sorry, my hair's bugging the hell out of me. Let's see. Okay, the second question is from one of my friends who says, if I were to start listening to the Strokes, where should I start? There is no particular album or song that I would start with. If you like more of like a techno-ish side, I would listen to Angles first. Um, to be honest, I would recommend First Impressions because that's my favorite album. But, another really good album to listen to first would probably be Room on Fire. Is This It is a good album. It's just like, if I had listened to that album first instead of First Impressions, I probably wouldn't like the Strokes as much as I do now. But I'm not like a huge fan of Is This It. I'm not a huge fan of Room on Fire either. But I love both of those albums, like, pretty much equally. And Room on Fire is probably better to listen to first. And I don't know, probably if you were to listen to Is This It, Barely Legal is a really great song. It's such a terrific song. I love Barely Legal, and so is The Modern Age. You Talk Way Too Much, which is on Room on Fire. Meet Me in the Bathroom, which is a really great song. On First Impressions, I would listen to something. Don't listen to Eyes of the World, which is my favorite song. That song's a little too heavy. For a first listen. I mean, that was one of the first songs I listened to, and I didn't like it at first. But if you were to listen to that, just listen to like You Only Live Once, Evening Sun. 15 Minutes is a pretty decent song. Like, that's probably my least favorite Strokes song, but whenever I first listened to it, I really liked it. So, oh, and Red Light. Everyone loves Red Light. But if you were to listen to Angles, probably start with the entire album. I love Angles. I think Angles is such a great album. So, you know, I don't think there's any song I would recommend off of it. Life is Simple in the Moonlight probably would be my number one choice to recommend to people. But okay, then I get asked a non-related Strokes question. If you could have your life any way you like it, how would you want it to be? So I have like, can I tell you guys about like my future dream? I want to be a mommy. I want to have 2 or 3 kids that I adopt and live either by myself or with my wife. I don't really care. I don't have a preference. I just want kids. But after college, I want to be a lawyer, and well, I want to teach kids first. I want to teach high schoolers, but then I want to go on to do law, and I want to like start reforms and start different sorts of like, I'm trying to think of the word. I'm sorry, I'm so tired right now. We're like reforms to like help out people because there are some people that get convicted of crimes that they're not really, they don't deserve to be convicted of. And I think it's a little crazy, but like it's funny because I want to be a prosecutor and I want to be prosecuting these people, but I also want to make it a little bit easier for some people that don't deserve it. But that's one of the things that I really, really want to do. But probably my number one thing in the entire universe that I want to do, I want to tour with a band. That's my number one like thing. I've always, since I was baby, like 2 years old, I was babbling on about how I wanted to go on tour with a band, and that's one of them. It's probably the one thing that I would really want. If I were to choose an animal to compare each member to, okay, let's see. Okay, Albert would probably be a baby bear cub because he's cute, but he's also feisty. Um, I would compare Julian to like a mouse. Yep, but he's awesome. So like, I don't know. But Nick would probably be a raccoon. I really don't know. Let's see. Fab would probably be like a leopard because he's awesome. And Nikolai would be a platypus. Very underappreciated, but very awesome. Like, platypuses are freaking amazing. Platypi. I don't know the plural platypus, but they are really freaking cool. And so is Nikolai. And also he's poisonous, like a platypus. So, okay. My last question is, what are my favorite Strokes songs? Okay, this is kind of difficult. My favorite Strokes song is probably Eyes of the World. Well, it is Eyes of the World. I love Eyes of the World. Best song ever. If you haven't listened to that song, your mind would be blown. But pretty much, it's such a perfect song. I also love Machu Picchu, Taken for a Fool, Electricity Scape. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I love Evening Sun. I love Vision of Division. Vision of Division was a big one. It used to be my favorite song. I really love Barely Legal, which is on right now. Anyways, the way he says misbehave. Just want to misbehave. Anyways, I love Barely Legal. Meet Me in the Bathroom is a big one right now. I mentioned that earlier. It's like one of my favorite songs. Yeah, I really love Metabolism. That's how I feel whenever I listen to Metabolism. Oh my god, I have to like fan myself after I listen to that. It's such a perfect song. It's like, it's so beautiful. You will like fall in love with it. Anyways, I've listened to that song like so many times in my life that I'm like totally used to it. So anyways, I have like a minute left before my video ends, and I'm sorry that this video is so freaking long. I mean, I just ramble on and on and on for no reason. So I think that I'm just gonna get going now. So I hope you enjoyed my extremely long video, and hopefully you got something out of this. I don't know what you would get out of this, but why not? Thank you for your questions, and if you want to leave me one, put it in my ask box and just be like video question in brackets or something, and I'll answer it in a video. And I think I'm gonna start doing this like once a week or so. So thank you again. That's an ugly heart. Where's my little heart? That's what's gonna happen. Thank you. Bye.